Hey there, friends. I'm King 5 meteorologist Ashley Ruiz on this Sunday morning, breaking down the forecast for you a little more in detail because we have a lot to cover this morning. Starting with the rain. Yes, it is rainy. It's dreary out there, and the rain is going to stick around through the morning, but you see it's not widespread. It's not covering all of western Washington, but this morning we've had some downpours, especially over Skagit County, where a couple of strikes of lightning were detected just before 9:30 this morning, and going back all the way to about 8 a.m. this morning as well. We have rain pushing ashore and a couple of strikes of lightning offshore, actually, and up in the mountains we have falling snow. Futurecast shows into the second half of the morning into about midday. We could have some sun breaks, especially closer to the coast, but Futurecast is picking up on that potential over Puget Sound as well, with more showers moving across the southwest interior, South Sound, and up into the northern interior as well, and the islands. But you see up in the mountains, especially the North Cascades, a lot of snow falling, and that's where we'll have most of the snow falling. The greatest chance to see snow levels come down to about 3,000 feet. And you see how there's a break in the snow through the passes, except for closer to White Pass, Mount Rainier, and then Crystal Mountain as well. That's where we'll likely have ongoing snow showers. But then we get into Sunday afternoon and evening. You see how it's more scattered, and most of the precipitation, including the snow, is generally to the east of us. And tonight, rain will start to wrap up, except along and east of the Cascade Crest into the eastern side of the state. But then we get into late tonight and early tomorrow. We clear things out as we get some ridging building over the area. But a couple of light morning showers are still possible before we get that clearing into the morning hours. In terms of rain totals, really going to be on the light side for most. But when we get maybe the second round of rain, or if we get any of these thunder showers, that could easily produce some locally heavy rain. But a 1/10 of an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch, 2/10 of an inch, but then closer to the islands where in the north interior where rain could be a little more consistent throughout the day and persistent, could get up maybe to 3/10 of an inch. Now let's talk about the mountain snow. Of course, Mount Rainier, Paradise above 5,000 feet, going to get the most of the snow, but you see the road to Paradise. It is a winter wonderland. And as of 9 o'clock this morning, we have falling snow in Stevens Pass. The road temperature likely just above freezing, so may not get any pass trouble except the northern Cascades. That's where it will likely get slushy. However, there could be a couple of slick spots there, but more so on the trees and then maybe the shoulders as well, where we could get some slushy conditions. But Snoqualmie Pass, even with a couple of snow showers maybe mixing in with cold rain, we're not expecting any issues there. Winter weather advisory. This time yesterday, we were talking about a winter weather advisory over the North Cascades, but as of yesterday, it was expanded to include the central and southern Cascades as well and into the passes. So this is in effect this morning through Monday morning, and snow totals about 4 to 8 inches above 4,000 feet. Now, Stevens Pass, not 8 inches of snow. The highest totals as you get closer to 7, 8, 9, up to maybe 10 inches of snow, that's going to be in the highest elevation, so above 5,000 feet. But either way, it's the first real snow of the season affecting the passes as well. So starting to see that change heading into the wetter months and when we start to get that mountain snow. Through Monday morning, model guidance has been pretty consistent, showing maybe Stevens Pass getting a couple of inches, but then Mount Baker maybe half of a foot up to 8, 9, 10 inches of snow, and then Paradise as well. And that's where we're going to get most of that moisture falling throughout the day and tonight. Now let's talk about the winds, because it's going to be gusty for everyone today. We've had some pretty strong wind gusts in Puget Sound this morning, but tonight into tomorrow afternoon, once winds start to shift around, right now they're out of the south and southwest, but then we're going to get northerly winds and offshore winds. And when we have these northeasterly winds, freezer outflow. So that's going to usher in some colder air to the north interior, but it's also going to create gusts potentially up to 45 miles per hour. So there is a wind advisory in place for the San Juans and Whatcom County. That's where we're likely going to have the strongest wind gusts. But you see all for western Washington into the afternoon, wind gust maybe around 10, 20, 25 miles per hour. This is wind gusts, not sustained. But then we get into late tonight, taking your attention to the north interior, the islands. You see frequent gusts over 30 miles per hour, but for everyone, it's still going to be breezy Monday and into Tuesday. Now let's talk a little about the fall foliage, because the wind going to affect the foliage as well. This is the time lapse from the Open Window School Bellevue, and you can see the beautiful colors, but you can start to see some of the trees are starting to become a little bare. You may already be raking the leaves in your backyard, so they will continue to fall. But I also literally. So we will see some beautiful colors even once the trees start to become bare, but with these winds and the rain, you'll likely have some more leaves to rake up a little later in the week. I wanted to share some photos with you, beautiful autumn photos. Our viewer Linda Valley sent this photo in this morning of the cranberry harvest. This is in Long Beach, so it's showing that tis the season. We're entering the holiday season and closer to late fall and into the winter season. So it's right around the corner. But then you see this photo is in Everett, bright, beautiful colors. And this is from Teresa, our nice viewer there. If you want to see your weather photos shared, whether it's on air, King 5 Plus, YouTube, so on and so forth, with me, you can go ahead and email me directly at aruiz@king5.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, text the King 5 line as well. This photo's from Aberdeen. Denise shared this beautiful photo. So some of the best fall foliage. If you're going up to the mountains to check it out as well, the larches are going to be covered with some snow in the northern Cascades. So now let's show you Queen Anne. This is looking over Seattle. You see the camera shaking erratically because, again, we are going to have those gusty conditions. Right now, this is 9:26 a.m., so if you're watching this later, you see it could even be making you motion sick a little because, again, the camera's shaking. Obviously, it's a little higher being Queen Anne, but we'll still have those strong winds eventually starting to shift out of the north overnight. So temperatures today below normal. If we get sun breaks, temperatures could climb into the upper 50s, but most will stay in the low and mid 50s. Up in the mountains, you see temperaters at Snoqualmie Pass at least at 3,500 feet or just below that, likely going to stay above freezing. Paradise 31, and then east of the Cascades, Leavenworth around 46, Wenatchee 54. Tonight, a couple of lingering showers, still going to be breezy, upper 30s, low and mid 40s. And then tomorrow we'll have brighter skies. We'll start to dry things out, and temperatures are going to be closer to normal. So upper 50s, lower and maybe mid 60s for some spots because we are going to have sunshine. This is something I didn't mention before. Now that we're heading into the new work week, our next impactful weather, it's not going to be rain or mountain snow, but we will have some cold mornings. And tomorrow morning's going to be chilly, but Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning will be the coldest. We'll have temperatures in the upper 30s, low and mid 40s, but our typical cold spots, so Shelton, Olympia, Puyallup, the Cascade foothills, maybe down in the mid-30s. So we'll have to watch out for some frosty conditions. Wednesday morning, again, some spots could even come close to freezing, even if it's just for an hour, maybe less than that. But Olympia around 34, 35 in Chehalis, and then Shelton 35 as well. These numbers could go down though, because especially if winds relax, we have clear skies. That is just the perfect ingredients for radiational cooling. So it won't take much for temperatures to drop rather quickly. So to wrap things up, 7-day forecast. Fall is here to stay, yes, but we are going to have brighter skies Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday, though we'll start to see more clouds moving in, and we'll likely have maybe a few showers around. But when the Mariners come back home for Game 3, likely going to have a roof open. So no issues there. It's actually going to be quite lovely, 61 degrees. But looking ahead to later in the week, we'll have more showers rolling in and maybe a more active weather pattern heading into Saturday and into Sunday, which will knock temperatures down and increase our rain chances. Now, beyond the 7-day forecast, and this is likely going to change by a couple of degrees, give or take, but it still shows that temperatures are starting to come down. So we're not looking at any major warm up. So if you want 70s, that is a thing of the past, at least until next year. But fall weather lovers, enjoy it. I hope you enjoy your Sunday. And remember, you can always find the latest forecast, a deeper dive into the forecast like this on King 5 Plus, YouTube, as well as our King 5 app. You can always find the latest there, and of course online. Have a great day.